good? We are good.
Yep, we are recording.
All right. So, seat years, welcome to installation 4 of this year of 2019. Adam Ronich, our April member of the month. We're going to go through our 11 questions per Tim Ferriss. Let's jump right into it. Question number 1. What is the book or books you've given most as a gift, and why, and/or has greatly influenced your life?
All right, I have only given one book in my entire life as a gift, and that was Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I never read it, didn't know what it had to do with it, but I got it from my stepmom because she's a little bit off, and I was like, this is going to help you off maybe.
Right. How'd that work out for you?
I don't even know if she ever read it. I never followed up, so I don't give books as gifts.
Well done.
So books I've read.
Right.
Like I was, I tell people sometimes like reading is difficult for me. Reading is not a joy, it's not a pleasure. That's why I watch a lot of TV. And it's just because when I do read, it's physically exhausting, right, at times. There are some attention disorders that I have that are quite obvious. So when I have to read, I have to get locked in, and it's either something that has to do with my profession, which I then can commit myself to because I see the end product in it, or very rarely it's for fun. So if there are 3 books that have influenced it, right? The first one would be If Chins Could Kill.
Yes.
By Bruce Campbell.
Yes.
Sort of handsome character actor, Briscoe County Jr. for fans, and what it was I had read some fantasy books when I was a kid. I waited for a while. It was in my late 20s I read it. And it was like the book that made me want to read for fun again. Because it was just stories of him growing up in the backyard, playing with Sam Raimi, shooting movies as kids, as teenagers, coming up with the recipe for what is the perfect consistency for blood in a movie before what turned into the Evil Dead. That they shot together and launched each other's careers. So that book for fun, there's a book called The Drunkard's Walk by Leonard Mlodinow. And there was a phrase I hate, that everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
Like, if I say that out loud, sometimes people are like, what do you mean, man? Things happen for a reason. I'm like, no, they don't. No, they don't. Things happen, we give them reason, based on our understanding or sense to comfort ourselves. And I think the subtitle of the book is something about how randomness rules our lives.
Fair.
This way of statistics and what goes on, and then how we trick ourselves to believe of a sense of order for a sense of comfort. And then the last one is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, depends on how you want to pronounce it, but basically a titan in the industry of cognitive psychology and decision making and the biases that we have in our brains. Putting his entire life work into a book for the purpose of describing how we are fundamentally kind of flawed.
Yep.
And that is fine, and that is perfect, because once you realize that, you don't have to be perfect, because we have issues.
If you have not read, for sure, the 3rd book of Thinking Fast, Acting Slow, correct?
Thinking Fast and Slow.
And Slow. It is an excellent book, strong recommendation from myself as well. What purchase of $100 or less has positively impacted your life? We spoke about this off camera. I love your answer, so I'm just going to shut up.
I got two. Number 1, TSA pre-check.
Yeah.
$65, best money ever spent because I can get through the line fast. We have stories about leaving people behind because they don't have it. Loved ones who are still loved ones afterwards, even though we left them at the gate. But I try to get them coffee on the other side if we can. The other one is Saks underwear.
And wait, blam. Not planned, not intentional.
Planned.
Swear to God, had him on.
You gotta treat yourself.
Best
You gotta
choice.
get out of the Hanes. You gotta get out of whatever Walmart underwear they have, and try them on. And they're great, and they work, and you get what you pay for, and they're comfortable. And
Yep. Not ashamed to say that when I just did that, Jason gave me a wink and a smile.
Go with comfort.
Number 3, how has a failure or an apparent failure set you up for later success in life?
Life started out as failures for me, where I had the misfortune of graduating at the worst time ever, December 1999, before Y2K hit. I was going into advertising. Immediately, 35% of the ad industry in Minneapolis got laid off. So I was competing to try to get an entry-level job against people with 2-3 years experience, writing letters, knocking on doors, willing to travel to other cities to go wherever I can get a job. I got rejected, lots. I had a spreadsheet of 100 companies I wanted to potentially work for, sending emails and whatever. And every time I got a response back or an interview that didn't quite land it for me, I saved it in a file in my file cabinet, for those who still have file cabinets. And then 3 years later, I finally got my break, answering phones as a reception person at an ad agency, taking whatever I could get. We talked, like, I could have given up. I could have been like, this is not meant to be. After 2 years, obviously something is wrong here. But it was like persistence to keep pushing through. And now, hey, it's successful. Now, hey, this is obviously what I was meant to do. But it just took some things to go through it. And having gone through it gives me a sense of perspective of it can all be taken away.
Yep.
Like, I remember what it was like struggling. I remember what it was like when a job was not given. And because I do remember that, like, fear of, like, failure is, there's that bit in Moneyball where he's like, I hate losing more than I like winning.
Right.
And the idea of not failing, like, that is what keeps pushing me forward rather than, like, yay, achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, just also want to say that Adam distanced all of our millennial members in twofold. One, yes, 99 was the worst possible time to try to get a job, not 2008. And 2, filing cabinets, Google it, you guys will figure it out. Number 4, if you had to have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
Like, this is actually what I do for a living,
yes.
kind of. Like, and if I had my own thing, and I'm gonna go with a light response to this. There's a bit where there is behaviors I would love to change in this country, and first and foremost would be like the ability to get into somebody else's shoes and see the world from their perspective. Like, this is what it is like for a single mother who is struggling. This is what it is like for this person, and that's what I love about big cities. In another job, I probably should have been an urban planner. This idea of how do we get mixed groups of people together, live in a way that's productive and cohesive, and in a way that, like, when you're exposed to other people, it's easier to accept them for who you are. It's harder to just abjectly dismiss them as some kind of a stereotype or whatever. How do I put that on a billboard? I don't know. And like, if I put like directives on a billboard, like, question everything, or like, be in somebody else's shoes, it sounds glib. I'm gonna go even glibber, and then I'm just gonna say, be excellent to each other.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with a Bill and Ted's
reference. I like it.
And just like, hey man, let's just get some positivity out there, instead of some of this divisiveness that we have.
I like it. Number 5. What is one of the best or most worthwhile investments you've ever made?
Living abroad.
No, see, we talked about this off here.
Yeah.
The first answer has to be
London. Oh, Dubai.
CrossFit. And then the second answer is...
Oh, this investment. Oh, yeah. Okay, first one, always CrossFit. CrossFit is always the best thing you can do with your life. It'll come back. We'll circle back to this. Personal development. It was living abroad. Like,
right.
we talked about this because I'm a kid from Minneapolis. Doesn't sound like, not a small town,
right,
but a smallish town.
Yep.
And I was like in my 30s before the first time I ever left the country. And that's when I went to Mexico for work. And it like opened up my eyes, and it was awesome. And then sometime around 2012, my company was like, hey, Adam, we're looking for somebody to go to London to fill in for a colleague who's on maternity leave. Yep. They have 6 months to 1 year maternity leave in London. And so we need someone to hit the job ground running. We'll pay for some things. And I went over there for a trial, and then I was like, can I go back? And the reason why was an investment because it was a massive pay cut when I decided to go back. It was about 30% less than what I was making at the time. In order to live in a city with a higher, cost of living, but the benefit was threefold. I mean, or I'm probably going to say 2 things after I just say threefold. but it was one to have the access to visiting like all these different countries from around the world,
Right.
which was interesting. But then to get perspective about how other cultures live. And this will come up in the answer for something else, where we talk about a sense of pace, a sense of prioritizing, like what do you put first in the world, like the sense of like Americans put so much like intensity and pressure on their job and their work and being busy, and it's just a different way of living. And when you see like there is no right or wrong, like these people are happy. It's just a different way of living, not a better or worse.
No,
like,
just different.
And then how are you going to take all of your collective experiences and find your way of living going forward? And that's what it gave me.
All right. Number 6, what's an unusual habit or an absurd thing that you love? And I refuse to let Adam finish after he told me what it was when we were off camera, because I want everybody to have the genuine reaction that I'm going to have right now as Adam says,
baby metal.
There it is. I am fascinated already. Go ahead.
So, I love things that go together. They
Like
shouldn't
babies
fit
and
together, but it does. Okay, and so you're like baby metal. Like, what is it? 'Cause,
Right.
like, is it that ball dancing baby, you know, from the early 2000s?
Yeah,
Again, dating myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ally McBeal.
So yes. So what this is baby metal is a group from Japan, and it's got it's kind of like Japanese pop. So the lead singers are 3 girls, like there were 12, maybe 14 and 16 years old.
Yep.
And they sing in like, you know, happy
Right.
Japanese pop voices. And in the background
It's metal.
is like really aggressive
That's fantastic.
metal bands. Like and it does not it seems to break all the rules. And if you throw it in front of like some like old school like this is what metal is people, they abjectly reject it.
Sure.
It's like this is stupid. And there's this some level like it works for me where it shouldn't work.
Right.
And that's I think what I love about it, the absurdity of the mix up, the mashup is what works for me.
Fantastic.
So Google it.
All right. You can expect baby metal happening tomorrow. First MetCon. Adam's here.
Yep.
Number 7. In the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
CrossFit.
There you go. There you go.
We had to. That's the obvious answer. That is the honest answer
Right.
too. I mean, that is seriously the honest answer. I mean, I came in here.
But I liked your twist on it
Yeah.
because it went deeper, which
Yeah.
was
So I mean, CrossFit itself, because there was the health benefits from it, like physically and whatnot. In order, you know, I think for everybody that is the member of the month, you know, we have a sense of active participation in it, and that indicates a certain amount of being able to commit to going to the gym. That ability to just say, I'm going to invest in myself.
Yep.
I am going to prioritize me, I'm going to prioritize working out. I'm not going to like, you know, it's too easy to get caught in the trap of, I don't have time. Like, I don't have time to work out. I don't have 2 hours, you know, to spend on myself today, or I don't have like 3 days a week to spend on myself, because I have all these other things going on. And just the ability just to say, when I started, I was like, forget about it, man. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna commit to it. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna leave at work at 5 o'clock. I'm gonna leave work at 5:30, and I'm gonna get to the gym, and I'm gonna make sure it happens. Maybe I have to get up a little bit earlier to get some stuff done, go to bed a little bit earlier to make sure I get a lot of sleep. But that's what I'm gonna do going forward. And then what happened?
nothing.
Nothing.
Except positivity from coming to CrossFit and tending to yourself and all of
The
those.
world didn't crumble. My work life didn't suffer. I was a happier, healthier person because of just taking those steps to make time for myself.
Yep.
And that's been the reason why I've been able to commit to CrossFit in a way that it's affected my life, but also then carrying it through some other, you know, extends to other behaviors that benefits it as well.
Yeah, I think that's the wonderful part about, you know, going back to your initial answer of what's different between being in London and being here, and being American, being European. Is the sense that it's their attention and being okay with focusing on yourself, because attending to yourself leads to overall happiness and overall well-being, which then transcends into other aspects of your life. Yeah. Next question. What advice would you give a smart-driven college student about as they enter the real world, and what advice would you tell them to ignore?
the pace in which you excel in your career is up to you. Like, own it. Do not wait around for other people to teach you, train you, bring you along. I have seen people stuck. I'm actively involved in interviewing, hiring for my company, which is like 75 people across the country. And I see a lot of people, and we bring them on, and I'm like, honestly, I want to have the best intentions. I want to say we got an excellent training program. We're going to bring you up. The reality is we reward self-starters. Like, we're going to throw you into some things. We're going to see how you react, and you're going to respond. And then outside of work, like, what are you going to do to build up your skill set, to try these things, to develop a sense of craftsmanship that can be applied to what we do. If you wait for others, if you blame others, nobody trained me. Like, what do you have for me? Like, those kind of things are going to do nothing but stall people in their career. Like, we reward self-starters. In the same vein, what should they ignore? We grew up in a time where we saw our parents being able to commit to a job for 30, 40 years. Get a pension, get a gold watch, whatever it was. And as Gen X, like, it was, we grew up at a time of overeducation and underemployment, and we had to scrap it out. And so, now as people in their 40s are starting to get into management roles or leadership roles at companies, like, we have a different perspective. The old guard would say, like, commit to a job forever. Like, if you leave a company within anything less than 5 years, like, how are you going to explain that on a
Where's
resume?
your commitment? What's it going to? Yeah, it'll look bad.
Yeah, I see people who invest, like, if it's a year and a half here, a year and a half here, that is somebody that is actively engaged in moving their career forward. If I'm afraid that they're going to leave me in a year and a half, that has more to do with what I think about my company and its inability to keep high-performing individuals happy and secure. So, like, if you have to jump around for a promotion, a pay rise, more responsibility, go ahead and do that because you'll be rewarded.
Absolutely. All right, next question, as we were starting to wind up here. What are bad recommendations you hear in your profession and or your area of expertise?
Oh my God, I hate when people can't, like, don't want to recognize the realities of the world or the brands that they have. So I'm a brand strategist.
Yep.
I help people come up with new products and or think about their brand differently. I will have people be like, okay, so what is our brand? Oh my gosh. Our brand is about self-empowerment. Our brand is about people recognizing in attaining their true potential in life. Cool. What are you? We're toothpaste.
Right. No.
And I'm like, you're toothpaste, bro.
Right.
Like take it down a notch. There's nothing bad in taking it down. There's nothing bad with saying, like, there's this aspirational world that we want to play in, and people in my industry believe that everybody that uses their products are, they like to challenge themselves, and it's going to be a life-changing experience. But when you focus in on, like, who are the actual people using it? What is the actual role we're playing in their lives? And that is how you really attach meaning and help find solutions for them, and don't just overinflate everything so we can feel better about our jobs and the brands that we work for. So get out of yourself and, like, actually focus on other people.
Be real. Number 10. In the last 5 years, what did you become better at saying no to? Distractions, invitations, thanks, Danny, etc. And what new realizations and/or approaches helped? And any other tips?
Is that the last one?
That is not the last one. That is the penultimate question. One of my favorite words.
Ooh, the just before the last. What is the last one? Like,
the very last one?
Yeah.
When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do?
Okay. And the last one, I like the distractions, like on cue, somebody dropped a bar.
Right, exactly.
It's honestly been saying no to some of the things that were like vices. Like people say, like, they have an addictive personality. Like, I don't think I necessarily have that. But dude, I was a gamer where I gamed all the time, like 16 hours a day.
Got it.
And I was doing that at a distraction from other things in my job. There were times, like, let's go out and party with my friends, and, like, what's actually important. So there became a sense of, I think with age, became a sense of like maturity, of
Right.
like what to focus on like what's important and what's going to keep the ball moving forward in my life,
Yep.
and not just what is entertaining and immediate gratification in the short term, which incredibly difficult nowadays, where we have a world full of instant gratification with social media, gaming on demand, with our technology and our mobile devices, and I think I'm fortunate to have grown up in a time where like we have the perspective of like before and after. Like,
Right,
this
exactly.
is what.
Life was before games
Yeah.
came in, and then games came in, and then now we don't.
So I could go back to it,
Right.
or even technology. Like, what would life be like if I didn't check my phone every 37
You
seconds?
found it,
Yeah, like, and I want to say that kids growing up with it these days, like, we hear about like digital natives, and they're going to be
Right.
more attuned to dealing with these things as they grow up with them in their lives. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not know if that's going to be the case, and we'll see how it plays out. So I've been better at mitigating
Mitigating those
the
things.
bad in my life and focusing on what's important moving forward.
I will say I completely agree, and there's a lot of similarity there. Just one little tip: my son Jack has actually gotten into gaming now, and there is a joy that I have in playing games with him. But
Yes.
that's more about relational and being with, and that kind of stuff. But
Yes.
in either case, so it's a nice little return to.
It's a
gaming.
bridge.
Yeah, it's great.
If you use it as a bridge and not an escape,
Totally
like,
different.
that's something different.
And then last question: when you feel overwhelmed, unfocused, or have temporarily lost your focus, what do you do?
So back to that idea of like, I wish that other people could see other people's perspectives, living in other people's shoes. It's been a journey of like thinking about how my behavior, the things I do, affect other people, right? Like if I lose focus, the ability of me to say like, why am I doing this? It's selfish. Like the things I'll lose focus on, then I'll go watch TV or do things for my own gratification, right? But if I feel like if I don't get this done, this is how I stay motivated at work a lot of the times where I have attention issues. If I don't get this done, how is this going to affect other people? If I don't get this done, and then there's a little bit of myself where it's like my reputations and stuff and this, that, and the other thing. But they won't be able to do this. They will have to carry the load. I will then have to take time away from seeing, my girlfriend, on the weekends, girlfriend/wife. We have 3 weddings, people. I got 2 down. I got 1 down. I got 2 more. It's not official in Illinois yet, but it's recognized by her community.
Right. Just to clarify.
Just to
not
clarify.
Side piece,
Yes.
but
yes.
we're still talking about the
Yes,
kid here. Yeah. Okay.
yes. Like if I have to then take time away from her to go, do work because I was inefficient at the time.
Right.
So, thinking about how, being cognizant about how my actions affect other people is what usually helps me then get back on track.
Yeah, and then prioritizing what's important and making sure that you're there for the important relational pieces.
Yeah.
All right. That's all 11 questions. Adam Ronich, member of the month for April. Enrique's been floating around in the background very poutily, kind of sadly realizing that his term of March member of the month has come to an end. You're still in our hearts, Enrique, just a little bit, at least 1 month farther back.
Still there.
Yeah, he's still floating. He's going to pop up underneath the desk. In either case, hope you guys enjoyed this. See you guys soon.